While I was deployed, my wife demanded an open marriage. I said no. So she cheated anyway and got caught on a date by her own parents. Can you imagine dedicating your entire life, every fiber of your being, to one person, only for them to look you in the eye and casually ask for permission to sleep with other people? Because that's exactly what my wife, Teresa, did to me. And it shattered everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and the woman I'd built my world around. It was just 2 months ago. Teresa sat me down, said she'd been thinking, and then, completely out of the blue, dropped a bombshell. She wanted to open up our marriage. Open our marriage. The words hit me like a physical blow. A ton of bricks, right to the chest. I just sat there, mouth dry, trying to process what I'd just heard. Up until that exact moment, I genuinely believed we were rock solid. Yeah, every couple has their moments, their ups and downs, but never in a million years did I think she was unhappy or felt unfulfilled. I mean, we loved each other, spent quality time together, supported one another through thick and thin. That's why her request didn't just shock me, it gutted me. The thought of bringing other people into our relationship. My head just spun. See, our story, it's pretty old school. I met Teresa when I was just 15, back in high school. From the first moment I saw her, I knew she was it. My high school sweetheart, my first love, my only love. I'd never felt anything like it, and honestly, no one's ever come close. When I decided to join the Army, it was tough. Long distances, uncertainty, endless time apart. It was a huge ask for young love. But I made her a promise. I'd come back for her. And when I did, I'd marry her. And she never wavered. Not once. She waited, just like she said she would. Every single week, those letters arrived, a lifeline. Through them, I lived her college life. Her classes, her friends, her dreams, even the tiny details that made me feel like I wasn't miles away, facing the grind of military life. She was loyal. She was committed. No matter how brutal my training got, how much I missed home, how lonely those nights felt, she was my escape. My everything. I truly believed, back then, that as long as we had each other, nothing could shake us. When I finally got out, the first thing I did was find her. After years of letters, of longing, we were face to face again. It was incredible. We'd grown up, sure, but our love? It was stronger. Those first few months back together were pure bliss. We laughed. We talked for hours, soaking up all that lost time. But the military, it was all I'd ever known. The structure, the discipline, the bond with my brothers, that's where I belonged. So I re-enlisted. Teresa supported me, even though I knew it tore her up inside. She'd waited once, now she'd have to do it again. But she stood by me. Always. We faced everything together, never letting distance win. Teresa worked so hard in college, and I was so damn proud of her. By the time she graduated, she was ready. Ready for marriage, ready to start our life. But I told her to wait. Not because I didn't want her, never that. I wanted her to build something for herself first. Get a job, find independence, experience life beyond just being my fiancé. I knew my military career meant I'd be gone a lot. I needed her to be stable, independent, to have a purpose outside of us. I needed to know that if something happened to me, she wouldn't be lost. It was a tough conversation, but she understood. She built that career. And when we both hit 25, we finally tied the knot. Our wedding day? Beautiful. Unforgettable. Standing there, next to my wife, making vows I meant with every single fiber of my being. I felt like the luckiest man alive. Both our families were ecstatic. Her mom cried tears of joy. Her dad, a man who rarely shows emotion, pulled me aside, telling me how proud he was to welcome me into their family. See, her dad? He served too, lost a hand in an accident. We had a bond, a deep understanding of what military life truly meant. He became more than an in-law. He became a father figure, someone I looked up to, and I knew he saw me as a son. For over a decade of marriage, I honestly never thought we had serious problems. We had our bumps, sure, but we always got through them. Looking back, maybe I was just too blinded by love to see the cracks forming. And one of the biggest cracks? Kids. I always dreamed of being a father. Since I was a kid, I pictured it. Teaching them, playing, watching them grow. It was my biggest dream. Teresa, though? She never shared that. I just didn't realize it. When we were dating, I'd bring it up, and she'd just smile, look away. Never said no. Never gave me a hint she wasn't on the same page. So after we got married, when I finally talked about trying for a baby, I was so hopeful, so excited. She wasn't, but she didn't say no. Not directly. If she'd told me, just once, that she didn't want kids, I would have adjusted. I would have listened, understood, accepted it, even if it meant rethinking my own future. But she never did. Instead, I just assumed we both wanted the same thing. What a fool I was. Month after month, nothing. I stayed optimistic. Bad timing. Just relax. Then, stress. Maybe my deployments, the pressure. In my most desperate moments, I even wondered if God was telling us parenthood wasn't for us. Never, not once, did it cross my mind that Teresa was actively preventing it. I trusted her completely. And when I brought up my concerns, she'd turn it on me. Gaslight me. Accuse me of having bad sperm. It hurt, deep down, but I believed her. What else could it be? I went for tests. Multiple times. Doctors, forms, every exam imaginable. The results? Always the same. Nothing wrong with you. You're perfectly capable of having kids. It should have been a relief, but it just made me more confused. If I was fine, what was going on? When I suggested she get checked, she brushed it off. Perfectly healthy. No tests needed. I didn't push. Maybe she was scared. Anxious. I had no idea the truth was something entirely different. Something she'd been hiding. All along. Then, after months of that soul-crushing disappointment, she finally admitted it. Looked me right in the eye and told me. She'd been secretly taking birth control pills. The entire time. Every month I hoped. Every night I lay awake, dreaming of our future with children. It was all for nothing. She never wanted kids. Not now. Not ever. And she'd known it from day one. That was a punch to the gut. I'd spent so long blaming myself, thinking I was broken. And all along, she had made a choice, a huge, life-altering choice, and just kept it from me. She watched me go through test after test, let me carry that weight of doubt, that insecurity, and never stopped me. She let me believe I was the problem while quietly ensuring we'd never conceive. I was devastated. Not just because my dream of fatherhood was gone, but because the person I loved most had kept something so fundamental from me. I felt utterly betrayed, lost, unsure what to do. A part of me screamed to walk away, to find someone who shared that dream. But then there was a stronger part, the part that couldn't imagine life without Teresa. No matter how much it hurt, I loved her too much to let this break us. So I forced myself to let go of fatherhood. Forever. I told myself, being with her was enough. Growing old together, that mattered more. That's how deeply I loved her. With my whole heart. No matter the cost. Then, 5 years ago, her mom got breast cancer. Even caught early, it shook our world. Cancer. A word no one wants to hear. And her mom? She was like a second mother to me. The thought of losing her was unbearable. Without a second thought, I put everything on hold. Months. To care for her. Teresa and I took turns at her parents' house, making sure her mom was comfortable. Doctors, meals, just being there. Her dad, strong as he is, needed support too. And I was there. That experience? It just strengthened my bond with her family. I truly believed, then, that Teresa and I had grown even closer. 3 years ago, I bought her dream home. She'd been obsessing over it for months. Zillow, pictures, talking about how perfect it would be. But always ending with, it's just a dream, it's out of our price range. But I saw her face light up. I knew how much it meant. So I crunched numbers, found a way. Took out a loan. I wanted to give her that house. I knew it would make her truly happy. When I told her it was ours, her reaction? Pure joy. Ecstasy. Her eyes sparkled. It was one of those moments that validated everything. Seeing her that happy? Every sacrifice, every ounce of effort, was worth it. We moved in. Made it our home. Decorated, quiet evenings on the porch, family gatherings, birthdays. Sometimes, though, I'd still catch myself. Picture a child running through those hallways, laughter echoing. The dream still lingered. But I'd learned to accept it. Because at the end of the day, I loved my wife. She was my partner, my best friend, the one who stood by me. We'd faced everything. Good times, bad times. Always stronger, together. Or so I thought. So, when she asked for an open marriage, why? Why look elsewhere when I'd given her everything? At first, I couldn't even believe it. I actually asked if she was joking. It was the only logical response. How else could I react? The woman I'd loved for most of my life, the woman I'd built a home with, was suddenly telling me she wanted to sleep with other men. And she expected me to be okay with it. But she wasn't joking. She was stone cold serious. And then she started explaining. Her reasoning? She felt she'd sacrificed a lot for our marriage over the years and deserved to be rewarded. The words stung deep. She continued, while I was deployed, she'd had certain urges she was struggling to control. Being alone for so long, she felt she was missing out. So now, she wanted an open marriage. With my permission, so she could sleep with other men. I sat there, absolutely stunned. I had sacrificed so much. More than she probably knew. I'd given up my dream of kids because I couldn't bear to lose her. I'd rearranged my entire life to make her happy, put her needs before my own, time and time again. I'd bought her this dream house, cared for her mother like my own, stood by her through every single hardship. And somehow, she was the one who felt she'd given up too much. I asked her straight up, why? Why would you want this? Don't you love me? Is this the end? She immediately reassured me. Oh, I'm still very much in love with you. She insisted the only reason she was asking was because she didn't want to cheat, as if asking for permission somehow made it better than sneaking around. She even pointed out she'd always stayed loyal despite these urges. But then she said it. The kicker. We only have one life, she said. I don't want to waste mine waiting months at a time for sex with you. I want to explore other options and enjoy my life while I'm still young. A waste. A waste, all those years. The sacrifices, the love, the memories. That's how she saw it. Was my military service something I dedicated my life to, just an inconvenience? It was like I was looking at a stranger. The woman I'd loved since I was 15, the one I'd built everything around, was telling me that being faithful to me was a hardship, that a committed, monogamous marriage with me wasn't enough anymore. My mind raced. Maybe it wasn't the open marriage. Maybe she hated my deployments. Maybe she was lonely, and this was her way of saying she wanted me home. So I asked her, do you want me to leave the military? Is that what this is about? Because if you need me home, I'll try to do it. But she shook her head. No, she said, without a flicker of hesitation. I don't mind your job. No problem with you being in the military or being gone for months. This isn't about your career. This is about me. She told me there was nothing wrong with me or our marriage. She truly wanted me as her husband in her life, but she also wanted other men. And since we were childless adults, we should be having more fun. She kept trying to make me comfortable, said she'd be upfront about who she slept with, that she'd never get emotionally involved, just sex. But to me, it didn't matter. Emotional or physical, it was cheating, and I wanted no part of it. This wasn't what I signed up for, not the vows we made. To be faithful, committed, to choose each other every single day. And now, after everything, she wanted to rewrite those vows for her benefit? I tried to make her understand. I get urges too, Teresa, I told her. When I'm deployed for months, surrounded by people who wouldn't think twice if I messed around. But I don't. I wouldn't. Because no matter how long I'm away, how lonely I feel, I could never betray the woman I love. That's commitment. That's what love means to me. How could she sit there, say she loved me, wanted me as her husband, and then ask for permission to sleep with other men? It felt like she had completely shattered the foundation of our entire life together. I wasn't just angry. I was broken. I'd spent years believing in us, in our marriage. Sacrificed dreams, time, pieces of myself for her happiness. And now, it felt like none of that mattered. If she truly loved me, how could she even ask this? The argument escalated quickly. Emotions were raw. No matter how hard I tried, she wouldn't back down. And then, the ultimate blow. She gave me an ultimatum, agreed to her demands, or we divorce. Just like that. All the years, all the sacrifices, all the love. She was willing to throw it all away, just so she could sleep with other men. And she didn't even seem conflicted. It was like her mind was already made up. She was just waiting for me to fall in line. That night, I couldn't stay in that house. I went to a bar, drank until my thoughts were a blur. An escape, any escape. When I got back, I didn't go to our bedroom. I crashed in the guest room. I couldn't even look at her, couldn't sleep beside her. And ever since, I've avoided her like the plague. The sight of her face, it just brings anger and pain. Then the call came, deployed again. Before I left, Teresa insisted on an answer. She wouldn't wait. Open marriage, or the end. I looked her in the eyes, and I made myself very clear. I will never agree to your demands, I told her. If you're so eager to be with other men, then you can pack your bags and leave my house. I reminded her of my values, of what marriage meant to me. If you want an open relationship, you can have it, just not with me. I'd rather divorce than stay married to someone who doesn't respect the commitment we made. She was furious. I saw it, her face twisting with rage. Since then, she's refused to take my calls, acting like I'm the one who did something wrong. Reading through everyone's responses, it's been overwhelming. And it's helped me see things clearer. Yes, I'm absolutely considering divorce. I meant what I said. I won't stay in a marriage where I'm disrespected. If she wants to be with other men, she can. But not as my wife. I gave her the chance to pack up. Now, I just have to prepare for what comes next. Looking back, maybe the whole birth control thing was a massive red flag, a huge betrayal I just glossed over. But love, man, love makes you blind. I kept telling myself, we have history. We've been through so much. She'd never betray me. I was wrong. So wrong. For now, my focus is deployment. But as soon as I'm back, a lawyer is my first stop. I worked too hard for that house to let her live the single life under my roof. It hurts like hell, but I know my worth. I deserve a wife who actually wants to be with me, not someone who sees our marriage as a burden she needs to escape. Then, a few days ago, I got a call from my in-laws. They were livid. Turns out, my mother-in-law and father-in-law had spotted Teresa out on a date with another man, holding hands, kissing him, right there, like she wasn't a married woman with a husband deployed overseas. The sheer audacity, the gall. Not only did she go behind my back, completely disregarding my refusal, but she did it so openly. In the same city where both our families live. She didn't even try to be discreet. It's like she's completely given up caring about anything but herself. Well, my father-in-law, he wasn't having it. Not a chance. He confronted her on the spot, right there, in front of everyone. And from what I heard, he didn't hold back. He was furious, yelling at her, at the guy she was with, making it crystal clear how disgusted he was by her actions. My mother-in-law was there too, heartbroken, in tears. And my father-in-law, a former army man himself, an intimidating force when he's angry. I can only imagine how terrified that guy must have been. I bet he bolted the second he realized who he was dealing with. Afterward, my father-in-law called me, furious and apologetic all at once. He asked if I had any idea why Teresa would do something like this. That's when I told him everything about her demand for an open marriage. He got even more upset, told me he never raised his daughter to be this way, that he was ashamed of her. He couldn't believe she would betray me like this. My mother-in-law, still crying in the background, was completely broken over what Teresa had done. Honestly, at this point, I'm just numb. Any tiny sliver of hope I had left, that this was just a phase, that she'd come to her senses, it's gone. Completely. She made her choice. She clearly doesn't care about the consequences. I even wonder if she was involved with this man long before she ever asked me for an open marriage. Anyway, I'm done. Fully. Completely. Done. I've already contacted a lawyer. The moment I'm back, the divorce process starts. She can have her fun with whoever she wants. But she won't be doing it while still legally tied to me. This week, Teresa called. Furious. Demanding to know why I'd been talking behind her back to her parents, turning them against her. She screamed that it was my fault her family was angry, that I'd manipulated them, and was playing the victim to make her look bad. I assured her, calmly, that she did all that on her own when she decided to cheat and get caught by her own parents. But here's where it gets really interesting. My in-laws, utterly disgusted by Teresa's behavior, now want to help me get a divorce from her. As an apology for how she treated me, as a way to make things right, they've even offered me a portion of her inheritance, to ensure I come out of this mess in the best possible position. And without a second thought, I happily accepted. Thanks to their incredible support, I won't be walking away from this marriage empty-handed. I never wanted things to end this way, not after all we built. But at least now, I'm finally getting some real closure. And maybe, just maybe, a shot at the future I truly deserve.